attempted to overturn an election that he lost fair and square, remain in power.
This is why I have little faith in the court system. Because, like, people like to say, oh, this certain case restored some of my faith today. No, there's been very little of that. There's been more of just the courts doing nothing. The Supreme Court could have taken tons of cases that had the evidence of what happened in 2020. They refused to do so. Why do you think they refused to? Because they don't want it to come out. Everything is that our court system does not work. And this judge is a perfect example of why it doesn't work. He's stupid. He's stupid. He can't just realize, no, he thinks that, oh, he lost fair and square. Didn't pay any attention to those rallies, in 2020 where it was a big evidence there, Judge, yet you're supposed to be smart. Big evidence there of differences in the rallies, but you think it was a fair and square. But this is what the courts have. So here's the thing. Everybody likes to say, like CNN likes to say, and all the same players, FBI, DOJ, that no one's above the law. Well, that's not entirely true. The people are above the law, but only when their government and their country has been overtaken. And obviously people know what I'm talking about. This is where your well-regulated militia comes in. So tonight on Glenn Beck's show, he did this live audience and was just asking questions, and they asking questions of him and him asking questions of the audience. And somebody had Glenn Beck brought it up. The Second Amendment had come up. And Glenn Beck said that many states are already in the process. They have formed militias. So this is your citizens, because this goes back to obviously the Declaration of Independence, and it's in the Constitution. The one number, even though there's tons of Democrats and assholes in high positions that have wanted to always take guns away from the American people, the fact is our founders wanted the American people heavily armed for one reason. I think they knew that eventually this day would come where somebody would where people, bad actors, would infiltrate and capture all of your government agencies, in which case the only chance to save the nation would be the everyday people. The people would have to, as a last resort, take it back, restore the government, put the people in jail that need to be in jail. Now, what our society would tell us in this year 2024 is you're not above the law. No, the FBI can go fuck themselves, okay? They have shown that when have they protected the country? They don't. They're just a rogue organization, like some domestic terrorist organization that has way too much power and should be dismantled, okay? They're not in our Constitution. The military's in our Constitution and the U.S. Marshals. All these other CIA, none of that's in the Constitution. But it was interesting because people in Glenn Beck's audience really feel like it's going to come to the point where they think it already has reached that point, but are willing to wait to see what happens with the election. But the fact is, people aren't going to, if there's more nonsense, it's going to get to this point. And I don't want to see it get to that point, because it's going to lead to a lot of people getting hurt, right? Because you're going to have law enforcement that's going to listen to their commanders, even though technically, if the people decided to rise up and go and take these people out of office, put them in jail, because here's the thing, it's very simple. The number one thing that every president is to do is to secure and protect the United States and secure our borders. Joe Biden has had our borders open for 4 fucking years, okay? He is a enemy to this country. So is his entire administration. They are the domestic terrorists. It doesn't, this whole case at the Supreme Court with this whole immunity thing doesn't even matter. Biden has been treasonous. I don't think you're immune from being treasonous, because it means you're an enemy to the state. You're an enemy to this country. And when the basic things like protecting the border, securing our border, he doesn't do, and he's just left it open, and people have already been killed and hurt. And what is the FBI doing? Just going after American citizens. What's the DOJ doing? Going after a candidate many Americans want to vote for, but they're keeping him off the campaign trail. Then what it looks like to most Americans is it's reaching that point where that well-regulated militia is going to have to do something. And nobody wants that, but that's where it's reaching. And that's what our founders said we had a duty to do it. So I know it gets all technical because it's like, no, you're not above the law. No, in that situation, the people are above the law. No matter what the assholes on The View or the media or all of them say. They're the same fucking people, just like this judge, that carry on that we're a democracy. They're that stupid that they don't know that our founders did not want democracy. They hated democracy because this is what you live under. You live under all these agencies, all these associations, all this socialist bullshit. We are a constitutional republic. So under their democracy system, they want to keep telling you you're not above the law. Well, our founders said differently. Our founders said that in a last case scenario, when nobody else was able to do anything, when the military isn't stepping in, when nobody else is able to do anything, it was up to the people to take it back. And I hope it doesn't come to that, but I'm like a lot of those people in that audience. It's like it may very well have to be. And that would be a lot of bloodshed, because there's many people that work in these different agencies that would see the everyday people as, no, you're going above the law. Not really, they are. They're out of line. Nobody is operating within the Constitution right now. The court systems are a total joke. What they're supposed to do, they don't do. It's just a song and dance bullshit. And then here's the other thing. And I don't want to say all these people on TikTok and other places are, operatives, but I've wondered, the people that say, oh, it's all handled, these people have died, like, they say like Joe Biden's died and Hillary, they were killed in 2018, 2021, they had their military tribunals and all that. Yeah, there's not enough evidence of that at all whatsoever for me. There's just not. But what's really made me wonder about those people that do that is that's a great way to keep the American people passive, thinking that everything is handled, so that the American people don't rise up. And the fact is that when your government has been infiltrated, and the very fact that Joe Biden does not protect the borders shows that he's a treasonous president. There's no way around that. They've been wide open for 4 years. Plus all the evidence against him for everything else, being in bed with globalists. It may take the people having to do something. And I pray it doesn't come to that. But seriously, because here's the other thing this audience of Glenn Beck's had said, is none of them think that no matter who the president is that gets in, will hold any of these people accountable. That's sad. And I kind of get it too, because Trump said he would put Hillary in jail in 2000, his first term, and he didn't. Now, obviously, there was extenuating circumstances with all these bureaucrats, but most people don't think anybody will, because it seems like once they go into that, that's Washington, D.C., it's kind of all forgotten. And the fact is, we the people want retribution. So I don't give a fuck what the media says. They may think, no, you can't be a rogue. No, we want retribution. We know what you people have done. We know what you've done to children. We know what you've done to the people, what you've done to this country. So even though Trump doesn't want to say it, or he backs off from saying it, we will say it. We want retribution. And since we're to be in charge, it may come to the fact that those well-regulated militias in every state say, fuck this, it's time to take it back. God willing, it doesn't come to that. But they're not going to get to have this country.